I do like Sandy Lyle. We watched it. Used to watch him playing the Volvo at Wentworth. He had a brilliant ball flight, which was that he hit it so good and so hard that it would it's back in the days when players were playing Pilates, and a lot of the players before launch monitors, they used to hit this ball flight. It's when pros played with a bit of flair. It was great. But they used to hit this ball flight, which was like a low riser. It was real flair to it. It had nothing to do with performance. It was just a bit of showboating. I'd like to bring back showboating in golf. I think it'd be good. I'd like to bring back smoking and showboating. But anyway, Sandy Lyle used to hit the most elite version of that ball flight, which was that he'd hit it so hard, it almost looked like it would take off, and then it would just go forwards flat before it sort of rose up at the end and dropped. And you know, he's just an absolute hammerer of the golf ball. I suppose you could probably compare him a bit to somebody like John Rahm today, just an absolute hitter. But this particular one iron, which was his, is, I'm just going to check the spec of it, believe it or not, it's 15 degrees. I've got a funny feeling I might have flattened the lie angle on this at some point, because the lie angle is quite flat. I would like to think that Sandy Lyle was playing his clubs this flat, because that would go along with a lot of my theories. But yeah, it's just an absolute bread knife. It's quite long, so he's quite a big guy. Sandy Lyle played TP11s most of his career. I've got a set of nice new TP11s over here. Just sort of thinking about building them. That's a Mizuno TP11. So back in these days, Mizuno just had this catalogue which was full of blades. Mizuno did about 10 different blades. TP11. Lyle was famous for using TP11. Nick Faldo used TP19s. Jose Maria Olazabal used TP9s. A lot of players use TP9s. I never liked them. I thought they were a bit long and snouty. 40.5 inches, so it's quite long. The grip's very slippery, and this is an X300. So people talk about X100 shafts. X200 is stiffer than an X100, and an X300 is stiffer than an X200. So it's very, very stiff. I could check the frequency on it, but I can't be bothered to turn the machine on. Anyway, we know it's stiff. It's only D3, so it's not that heavy. It's not crazy heavy. Absolute bread knife though. Look how thin it is. You can actually see the back of the club when you look down on it. The head is thinner. It's almost thinner than the hosel, and you can see it's got SL stamps on it. It's a blank, so it's be like a sort of, you know, there's lots of weird stuff that went on in those days, like Daiwa made the Mizuno forgings and things like that. This is a similar shape to like a TP original, which I think he played earlier in his career. And I've watched him tee off at Wentworth with a club like this. I'm not saying it was this one, with a club like this. And on the first at Wentworth, he's able to hit it down the hill with a one iron. Nobody could do that. People couldn't do that. Most of the players couldn't do that with the driver. In fact, none of the players could do that with the driver. He's hit it so long in his day, Sandy Lyle. Now this is probably, of all the twisted, sick, mad one irons that we've got in death row, one irons and two irons that are impossible to hit, this is definitely the hardest one to hit. It's not that heavy, but it's long, and at that weight it feels really heavy. It's very stiff, and if you miss it, well, you can't miss it. It's as simple as that. So I've absolutely ripped that. .241 with a tiny draw. That's as good as I could ever hit it. You should put it on TV cam, Charlie, and then you'll be able to see better. I'm not going to be able to hit it better than that. That one is like, still hit pretty good, but it doesn't even fly if you don't hit it good. So that one's hit slightly out, just maybe slightly towards the heel of the club. I've hit that one good. .242, just got it across the road. Mega easy to shape, so should be able to hit like a stinger. See if I can hit a stinger fade. Ooh, that's out the toe, so that will go nowhere. Look at the distance spread. So I've hit a good one is 240, hit it out the toe, lose 50 yards. Let's see if I can get a good stinger. Oh! Stinging the hands. Come on, I can hit the stinger, can't you? Stinger fade. There it is. Quite a hard club to draw. But yeah, I mean, Sandy Lyle could hit this thing like, you know, probably on a links course in the summer. He could probably get this moving at 300 yards with run. Big fade. That won't go very far, it's a bit out of the net. See if I can rip a fade. It's only gone 205, it's a big spread. Come on, good fade. Oh, that's a good fade. That's got some real height on it. Lose quite a bit of distance with the fade. Right, last shot, try and hit a hammer draw down the right, a bit over towards the road. That should go quite a long way. Okay, I need to hit one more, just one more. Hard as I can. So for all that extra oomph, I got about 6 yards extra. So the moral to the story is you're just better off hitting it good, focusing on strike. Everyone wants to talk about speed, all about strike. Hit the road. Yeah, there you go. 246. It's just as far. Didn't have to swing it out my boots and do all the big recoil and everything. Just got to hit it good. One more. Soft fade. There you go. Sandy Lyle, what a man.